Growing up, menopause was never really a thing. It wasn't something anyone prepared for. It wasn't something anybody explained. It just happened. One day, a woman was bleeding, and another day it just stops. No ceremony, no conversation, nobody's asking questions, just silence. And for me, menopause, just like many other people, simply meant you stop having children, you stop your cycle, you're older, and that was it. Until much later. I remember being in pharmacy school and working on a project on osteoporosis, and for the first time I asked a question like, wait, menopause changes the body this much? Like, what you mean bones becoming fragile? But here's the thing, I've also seen women who went through menopause quietly, little or no drama, no structured support anywhere. So I had more questions like, why do some women struggle and others don't? Because if this phase is inevitable, then we have to giddy up before 40. So in this video, we're going to do something different. We're going to ask the real questions, the why is this happening to me kind of questions. And for each one, I'll break down what is going on in your body and what you can start doing differently. Because menopause is not just something you survive, it is something you can understand. You can prepare for it and you can even thrive through it. So let's get into the questions. The first question I have is this. Ever since I hit 45, I have become more anxious about small things and my mood is all over the place. One day I feel excited, the next day I just want to withdraw. What's happening to me? Good thing you asked, because most people think that menopause starts at 50. But the truth is many women start noticing changes from their mid-40s and sometimes even as early as their late 30s. It's your brain chemistry responding to hormonal shifts. This stage is called perimenopause, the transition phase before menopause. And this phase is not stable. Your estrogen is no longer steady. It rises, drops, fluctuates unpredictably, and it affects some neurochemicals. And these signals can train you to better regulate those neurochemicals. And in this case, your calm system, that's called the GABA system, is being affected. Now, progesterone supports the GABA. And if GABA is declining, then your brain's ability to calm down is also declining. So you feel more anxious even over small things. Your body feels on edge and you can't relax the way you used to because GABA has been affected. Secondly is that estrogen helps to regulate serotonin, which stabilizes the mood. So because estrogen is now fluctuating, the result is that one day you feel like you're in a great mood, you're energetic, another day you feel low, withdrawn, or irritable. And then your dopamine also is dipping. So dopamine helps you feel motivated. It gives you drive, engagement, excitement. So you may notice that you have lost interest in things you used to enjoy. So what is really happening? Your brain is really trying to recalibrate in real time, while the signals it depends on keep changing. And that's why it feels unpredictable. It's not a problem about you being antisocial or something. You are hormonally sensitive in a transition phase. What can you start doing differently? The first thing you need to do is to stabilize your nervous system. 3 things you can do to stabilize your nervous system is: first, deep breathing to calm your stimulated moments. Secondly, take it easy in the mornings, slower mornings. And then thirdly, at night, reduce anything that overstimulates you. Then secondly, you need to support serotonin through other pathways. Morning sunlight, regular meals, don't skip meals because blood sugar crashes worsens mood swings. And then movement, even light exercises like walking would help. Then number 3, rebuild your calm chemistry outside of progesterone. And then you can do that by taking more magnesium-rich foods, increase your protein intake, and then next, you need to normalize rest. And when you rest, don't look at it like I'm withdrawing, I'm shutting down. Tell yourself, I need to reset. And you know, the Bible says that you think on things that are positive, right? The way you see rest is very important. If you see rest like, oh, I can't take people anymore, I need to withdraw. I mean, your brain chemistry takes it that way as well. So look at it like a positive event, like I am just taking out time to reset. I'm going to bounce back and come back. The next question on my table is, why am I suddenly gaining weight even though nothing has really changed? You know, for ladies especially, this is one of the most frustrating parts of this phase, because from your perspective, you're eating the same, you're living the same, but your body is not responding the same way it used to. This is because your body has changed, even if your habits have not. It is a shift in how your body manages energy. First, your hormones are changing how you store fat. So as you enter perimenopause, estrogen begins to fluctuate and gradually decline. And estrogen doesn't just affect your cycle, it also affects fat distribution and metabolism. So you may notice more fat around the abdomen, the worst place it can run. And then there's less fat stored in the hips and the thighs, the very place you want it to be. And your body shape now feels unfamiliar. And then secondly, your insulin sensitivity is shifting. Your body becomes a bit less efficient in handling sugar. That means you store fat more easily, you experience more cravings, your energy crashes are becoming more frequent, even though your diet has not changed. Your response to food has changed. And then third, your cortisol, that's your stress hormone, is playing a bigger role. This phase makes your body more sensitive to stress. And elevated cortisol does two things. It encourages fat storage around the belly, and then it breaks down muscles, which slows down metabolism. So even normal life stress can now show up as weight gain. And then fourth, muscle mass is quietly declining. So you naturally start to lose muscle as you age. And muscle is what keeps metabolism active. So less muscle means slower metabolism. Slower metabolism, easier weight gain. So what is the real summary? You're gaining weight because your hormones are shifting, metabolism is adapting, your body is getting more efficient at storing energy, aka fats. So what can we do differently? The million-dollar question, isn't it? Prioritize protein. This is non-negotiable now, because protein helps maintain muscle, it supports metabolism, and it keeps you fuller for longer. Secondly, build strength, not just cardio. Resistance training helps rebuild muscle. Muscle improves how your body burns energy. And thirdly, you need to stabilize blood sugar. Don't skip meals. Combine your carbohydrates with protein and healthy fats. Reduce constant snacking, right? You know, I understand that cravings can get intense, but I have this principle where if it doesn't serve me, if it's not good for me, then I have to dominate it. And sometimes I create a recipe when I'm craving, a recipe that serves me, right? Because right now your body is less forgiving. You need to rest, sleep. Boundaries matter now more than ever. Let's move on to the next question. Why do I wake up at night feeling restless, anxious, sweating at night? This is one of the most common and most confusing experience in this phase, because you go to bed just fine, but somewhere in the middle of the night, you are wide awake, your mind is alert, your body is hot, hot flashes, and going back to sleep feels almost impossible. Let's break down what's actually happening. Number one, your sleep hormone is no longer as steady. That's melatonin. Melatonin is what helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. But during perimenopause, hormonal changes disrupt your natural sleep rhythm. So what happens? You fall asleep, but you can't maintain deep sleep. You find yourself waking up between 1 and 4 a.m. and your sleep feels lighter, less restorative. Problemo. And then your alert system is kicking in at the wrong time. That's the norepinephrine, right? That's your brain's alertness chemical. It's supposed to help you wake up in the morning, but now your system is more sensitive and it can spike in the middle of the night. And when it does, your brain just switches on and your heart may feel like it's racing. Sometimes you may feel anxious, restless, almost like your body thinks it's morning at 2 a.m. And then for some people, they experience the hot flashes. The body's temperature control is now more unstable because estrogen actually is supportive in regulating your internal thermostat. And as it fluctuates, your body becomes more sensitive to tiny changes in temperature. So as a result, you experience night sweats, sudden heat surges, throwing off covers in the middle of the night, and then you're covering yourself back, right? Because every time your body overheats, it wakes you up. And then next, your nervous system is more reactive overall, because at this stage, your system is less buffered. So stress hits you harder, recovery is slower, and then nighttime becomes a window where everything surfaces. And that's why the wake up often comes with thinking, worrying, over processing. Your sleep architecture is being disrupted by hormonal shifts, your alert signals coming at the wrong time, and then your calming signals is not as optimal as it used to be. Now there's temperature instability. Question: what can you start doing differently? I'll try to keep this as practical and as doable as possible. To support your melatonin naturally, you need to reduce bright lights at night. Avoid screens 1 hour before bed and get morning sunlight because this resets your sleep rhythm. And then secondly, to calm the nervous system before bed, you can engage slow, deep breathing, gentle stretching, and avoid intense mental stimulation late at night. And then thirdly, stabilize nighttime blood sugar. Don't go to bed too hungry. Include protein and healthy fats at dinner because if your blood sugar drops at night, it can trigger those wake-ups. Fourth, cool your sleep environment. Wear light, breathable clothing. Make sure your room temperature is cool if possible. And then if your nights feel broken and you're wondering what has changed, your body did not forget how to sleep. It's just operating under a new set of signals. And you see, these chemicals I'm talking about, it's not like they cannot be supported now that estrogen or progesterone is not supporting them. It's that they need a new way to be stimulated. Let's move on to the next question. Why do I feel less of myself, less joyful, more forgetful, easily overwhelmed, and sometimes disconnected? Now, this one is deeper because it feels like it's a you problem, right? Someone once made a joke that after I clocked 50, I stopped caring as much. And I listened to that, and to me, it didn't sound like a joke because what is really happening is that your connection chemistry is changing. And that is the impact of oxytocin. Oxytocin is what helps you feel bonded. It makes you feel warm, connected. But in this phase, your emotional wiring is a bit less responsive. So you may notice that you don't feel as socially engaged like you once. Many times you probably prefer to have more space, and emotional closeness feels like effort sometimes, not because you don't love people, but because your brain needs more intentional input to feel connection, right? Secondly, you're not as joyful because endorphins are lower. So you may feel less naturally happy and more sensitive to stress. because there is lower ability to recover after a long day, right? And then your mental sharpness is affected because a neurochemical called acetylcholine is depleting. So you notice that you're forgetting words mid-sentence. You're walking into rooms and you're like, why did I come here? You're feeling slower mentally. You're still intelligent, but it's a shift in how efficiently your brain is sending signals and receiving signals as well. And then that feeling of overstimulation that was talked about, it happens when glutamate is not balanced well. So you feel easily overwhelmed, mentally cluttered, right? And drained by things that used to feel normal, right? Another thing that is going on in your body is that your brain's renewal system needs more support. That's the BDNF. It helps your brain adapt, grow, and stay resilient. So as estrogen declines, that support reduces as well. So you may feel less like yourself, less adaptable, more mentally and emotionally fatigued. So in light of all these 5, you need to know that you're not losing yourself. You're still you, but you're experiencing a shift in systems that need attention. So how do you pay attention? I feel like the theme of the solution is that we work by faith and not by sight. So it's not about your senses or what you feel. It's about what you want to feel and living in the reality and then feeling it. It's the principle Jesus played in here where he said, believe you have it, and then you have it. So the first thing you need to do is to rebuild connection intentionally for oxytocin support. Oxytocin may not be lying there readily, but don't wait until you feel it. Connect to people, hug your partner, spend time with people. Don't stay isolated for too long. Connection may not feel automatic, but it's still available. You will feel it, the stimulation will come and oxytocin will be all over the place. And then secondly, for your endorphins, once again, you have to stimulate it by creating small daily joy moments, through light movement, music, laughter, sunlight. You don't wait until you feel like it, initiate it. It's a time of your life where you are really living your life. You're not waiting for life to happen to you. Thirdly, you want to protect your mental space for glutamate balance. Reduce noise, clutter, and overstimulation. It's okay to say no more often and create quiet pockets of time for yourself during the day. This means you have to be more aware, more intentional about supporting your neurochemicals, and then support your brain function, the acetylcholine, BDNF, by eating more protein, moving, making challenging conversations, reading, because beyond biology, there's posture, and posture matters to biology. And I love to look at Jesus, and he was known sometimes to withdraw to quiet places regularly when he was on earth. Not isolation, but intentional retreats, and you may need more of that. Also, he practiced joy. He was at events, he practiced gratitude, he broke bread with friends, he had community, and that's something you can adopt as well. So if you have been feeling like, I don't feel like myself anymore, you're still there, but your brain needs new support to express that version of you. And when you combine biological support with intentional living, you don't just find yourself, you meet a more aware, more grounded, more intentional version of yourself. Not like life is happening to you, but like you are living life.